Well, good morning, friends, and welcome to my channel. I am Crystal, and this is Homemaking on the Homestead. And this is Friday. And on Fridays, we do my coffee with Crystal. We're going to have a little chatty kitchen table talk. I've got a few things to talk to you about. I'm going to share what I'm doing in my kitchen. I am going to share a gift idea in my theme this month of simplifying Christmas. It's something I've done for my grandkids in the past. And I have a little devotional talk from one of Elizabeth George's book that I want to share with you, and some of my own thoughts on the topic. So grab your cup of coffee and let's chat. So one of the unfortunate things that I have dealt with this week is just the day or two after Thanksgiving, I ended up coming down with a cold. So it's kind of been a head cold, a chest cold, plenty of coughing and just feeling kind of cruddy. Today I feel a little bit better. So I'm hoping that I can make it through this video without having to stop a bunch of times to cough and all that good fun stuff that comes with a cold. But I am feeling better, so I'll get through this, get on the other side of it. But anyway, I wanted to start by asking you guys, I like to ask about what's going on in your kitchen, if you guys want to share with me anything you've been baking and doing lately. I am currently getting ready to can some turkey soup. If you saw my last video, I was making my turkey broth in a big pot. I took all the bones and put everything in the big pot, and I let that simmer on the back of the stove for 24 hours, maybe even a little bit longer. And oh gosh, it just brought out so much flavor. My house smelled amazing. And I strained all that out, grabbed all the meat that was still in there, chopped up all that, and I have... And that's what I'm going to use today, is that broth and that meat. So I have my canner set out, I have my meat chopped up. I chopped up a small amount of onion and took out what was left in a bag of some peas and carrots. And all of that with the broth is going to go into my canning jars, which are all washed, and my lids are washed. And I am ready to rock and roll on that here after I finish chatting with you guys. So it's been a while since I pulled out my canner. I've had lots of plans. I have things in the freezer that I need to can up. I just haven't had the time, and I'm hoping that now I might have a couple weeks of, just peace and be able to do a little more canning. One thing I love about that Presto digital canner is how easy it is to use. And it's not like this big ordeal of pulling out the canner and doing all this. I keep it stored in my pantry, laundry room. I pull it out and put it into the kitchen when I need to use it. I have all my jars easy to access. I have all my rings and my lids super easy to access. So canning just is a very simplistic process. And once I get the jars in the canner, get that going, I don't have to babysit it. So I think that canner has been one of the best purchases I have ever made. It was a birthday present. My husband was like, yeah, go ahead and order it for your birthday. So that's the kind of birthday present it was. But and back in March, and I have canned so many jars of food with it. It has just been fantastic. Anyway, okay, moving on from my kitchen project today. This pretty much will finish up my Thanksgiving leftovers, Thanksgiving food. We still have a little bit of pumpkin pie left. And I have what's left in a bag of cranberries that did not go into my cranberry sauce. So my brain's been, clicking away at, okay, how can I use this? I can put them in the freezer, but my past experiences is they filter to the bottom of the freezer, and then I totally forget that I have them. So I would like to just use them in some positive way. And I have two ideas, so I'm going to still work on that and probably share that later in another video with you. How do I end up using those fresh cranberries? So my next question for you guys is, what's for dinner? What are you making tonight for dinner? I always like the idea of, all of us sharing our ideas, the things that we're making, and also the things we're doing in our kitchen, just to be inspiring to other people. Other ladies that come here, they can read through the comments and maybe get inspired to try something new or a new idea or just an old idea that they forgot about. I know that's happened to me many times when you guys share what you're eating for dinner. So please make sure down in the comments to let me know, what are you guys cooking for dinner tonight? So my plan is still up in the air, but I do have it narrowed down. I'm either going to make naan-bread pizza. I have some naan bread in my freezer, and I have pepperoni, and I have sauce, and I have cheese, so it's like that would be super easy. I made a big batch of salad last night, so we would have that with us, with it on the side. My other thought, if I don't do that, is going to be tacos, and just cook up some hamburger or use a jar of my home canned hamburger and make up tacos for dinner tonight. So we'll see. I'm kind of leaning toward the naan bread pizzas. My husband likes both, so the next time I chat with him today, I'm going to say, what sounds good to you? And maybe I'll let that be my deciding factor of what we're going to have for dinner. But do let me know what you're having for dinner. So on last Tuesday's video, I talked a bit about, shared some of my thoughts on Christmas and the simplicity aspect of Christmas, you know, just to simplify things, and how everything today seems so commercialized and so big and huge, and it's a lot centered around, you know, the gifts that we buy, and you know, every year has to be something bigger and better, and like I mentioned in the video, I mean, I understand it. That's how companies make money this time of year, is a lot of retailers, this is the big time of year. I've heard that like a majority of their money is made over the holidays. But I think, you know, our society is in not great shape right now. You know, inflation is high, things are costing more money, budgets are tight. And one of the things I think is important is that we don't feel that pressure to have to do what the societal norms are, that we can give ourselves permission to step away from that and say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do it this big anymore. You know, hone in on the things that are important to you in the holiday season, that you enjoy. You know, I like to keep my focus very Christ-centered and enjoy the cozy warmth of the season and spend time with family and friends and do all those, the baking and those types of things. But I remember a few years ago, it's been several years now, it was when most all my kids still live locally, and every year we would do a gift exchange. And because I had 8 kids, no one, you know, we didn't expect that all the kids would buy all their siblings a gift. So on Thanksgiving, everybody would draw names, and then whatever name, that was the gift that you got that year. And I remember my kids getting all together and discussing it and deciding that they no longer wanted to do that. There was a lot of them that were going through college and just starting out in jobs, or, you know, had kids and things were tight financially. And it was a burden that they didn't want to have that year. And I was absolutely thrilled, number one, that they made that choice, and number two, that they were being realistic about where they were at and what they could afford. And since that time, they have still been that way. And, you know, there weren't as many grandkids at the time, for them, nieces and nephews, so what they chose to do was get a little something for their nieces and nephews, as we always celebrated on Christmas Eve, and so there was a little something for nieces and nephews under the tree. And I was fine with that. Like I said, it made my day when they made that choice themselves. So I didn't have to be the one that say, hey, let's not do this anymore. Let's, you know, just enjoy the family time together. Let's enjoy all the good food and the good treats and just being together, and let that be what Christmas is. When I look back on Christmases of the past, I don't really actually remember the things that I got as much as I remember the gathering of the family together. So that's kind of where I like to keep my focus. And I do like to do a little something for my grandkids, but not a lot. And so sometimes now I've kind of morphed into more like family gifts and things. So I will do magazine subscriptions, and I'll do board games or books or things like that. But back several years ago, I had several grandkids coming, and for Christmas Eve, and I decided to do I called them little socks. And so what I did is I bought a pair of socks for each grandchild. And then I took the mate to the sock and I rolled it up and I stuck it inside the bottom of the sock. And then inside the sock I stuffed it with really simplistic things, you know, like a little bit of candy, little snack packs of crackers or granola bars and things like that. And then I took a clothespin and I hung them on the Christmas tree. And it was such a huge hit. They were so excited about that. And it just reminded me too that we end up creating our children's expectations. So if you do big, that's what your children are going to expect. If you do small and simple, then your children can be totally in love with the small and the simple things that they get. It was a lot of fun that year, and certainly something that I would consider doing again. My hope is to continue to share simple little things that we can do throughout the season in my upcoming videos as we lead up to Christmas, whether it's recipes or gift ideas or anything else that, you know, I think that might help to give that sense of simplicity, but yet still enjoy the holiday season. I wanted to read just a short little bit out of Elizabeth George's book, The Remarkable Women of the Bible. Now, I've read a few of these now, and just kind of pick and choose which women I want to read about, and I've really enjoyed her take on each woman. She gives you a little background of them, and it's been a really enjoyable book to read. And I figured with the holiday season here that Mary would be a good one to focus on a little bit. And I'm going to share a message with you. I'm going to read what she said and then add a little bit of my own thoughts to it. And this is nothing new, but I think it's so easy to forget. So what I'm going to read to you comes from chapter 19. It's just a little bit, not a whole lot, but just to give you the idea here. It starts out by saying, blessed among women. Exactly what kind of woman did God choose to be blessed among women? To carry within her womb, God become man, to love and cherish him as her firstborn son, to raise him in the knowledge of the Lord God, to be the mother of his precious and only son. Then she lists the character traits that Mary had. A chaste virgin, a humble maiden, a devoted follower, a faithful Jew. As you appreciate and marvel at Mary's life, let yourself enjoy the relief that comes with knowing that no matter how humble, how simple, how poor, how ordinary, how intelligent, or how successful we are, God looks on our hearts, just as he did Mary's. And like her, you can be blessed among women and used by God to do great things for him. How? Simply love him. Love him humbly, devotedly, faithfully. Love him with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. And that is basically my message to you today, is that our focus is to love God and to serve God. And to know that it has nothing to do with anything that others may see on the outside. Because God does not look at that. He looks at the heart. Things like social media can be so distracting. Things like Pinterest or, things that we're always comparing ourselves with, and we fall short. She has a better house. She has a better car. She has things that are better than what I have. Oh, she's more devoted to God. Oh, look, she's doing all these things. I think that it's important to remember that none of that matters to God. What matters to God is our heart. And what needs to matter to us more than anything else is our heart. And when our heart is devoted to God and we love him with all our heart, soul, strength, and mind, he can do amazing things with our life. He can do amazing things with us in order to serve him. And that's really exciting. And I think it's even more exciting for women that are in my situation. I'm an empty nester now. After raising 8 children, I have no children at home anymore. And I went through quite a very difficult time as my last child left, and I came to realize that, I have, where is my purpose? What am I supposed to do with my life? And to know that my purpose is always been the same. I did a whole video on this, but my purpose has always been the same, to love the Lord and to serve Him. And I needed to wait and see how God was going to use me in this next season of my life. And I think that that's where we need to be. We need to love the Lord with God with all our heart, soul, and mind. We need to serve Him humbly, devotedly, faithfully, and He will show us, what is important. He will use us in His own way, whatever that is. And it doesn't have to be great and amazing and miraculous like it was for Mary, but in whatever capacity, the Lord will use us as long as we have that heart for Him. Okay, ladies, I keep pausing this video because I got to cough and drink some more coffee so I am going to end this video here and get back into my kitchen and get some canning done, decide what's for dinner, and who knows, I've got a little laundry to run through and all the good, enjoyable homemaking things. That is my quiet day today. So I just want to thank you guys for stopping by my home today and sitting down and having that cup of coffee with me and having that little bit of chatty kitchen table talk together. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate all of you very much. I hope you all have an awesome and blessed weekend, and I will see you all in my next video. Alrighty, bye-bye.